ॐ भैरवाय नमः। ॐ हिङ्गुलाम्बिकाय नमः। ॐ कामाख्याय नमः। ॐ कालकालाय विद्महे कालातीताय धीमहि तन्नः कालभैरवः प्रचोदयात्। Namaskaram. Welcome to yet another video of our Ishtartha Guru Bhairava, where we will try to understand him about one step closer as whatever we know him a minute before. Today, we are going to talk about one of the Dashamaha Bhairava Swarupa, Ekavaktra or Ekavaktra Bhairava. See, these Bhairavas are connected to the Dashamaha Vidyas. So it is like Ekavaktra Bhairava is connected to Bhaglamukima. But before we talk about how these connections are there, how exactly this is one of the part of the Dashamaha Bhairavas on the Dashamaha Vidya perspective, we will talk more about what is Ekavaktra Bhairava or Ekavaktra Bhairava. See, one-faced flame of stillness is what actually Ekavaktra Bhairava is in a single statement what we can think on. It's literally Ekavaktra means one-faced Bhairava. You may be thinking that actually Bhairava has multiple faces. Yes, similar to the actually there is, as Brahma has 4 faces, as Shiva has 5 faces, Shanmuga has 6 faces, Subramanya, as similar to the other Daiva has a different faces. Here Bhairava is in one particular face, and that one face Bhairava is called Ekavaktra Bhairava. He is a profound Farsi manifestation of the Shiva, similar actually whatever we have learned from a Bhairava Tattva perspective. But here he is 6th among the Dashamaha Bhairavas. In many Tantric traditions, it is intimately like associated with Bhaglamukhi, and few of them actually tell that Bhaglamukima doesn't have any concert, especially all the Dashamaha Vidyas doesn't have concerts. But what we need to understand here is every mythological stories has a different way of expression and different way of absolute conveying the state, the reciprocal of the Devi as well as Devata Swarupas. The goddesses of the silence, I believe you would be knowing it, Bhaglamukima, she is a goddess of silence. She is also called as in paralyzes any kind of an evil act. Stambhana, the absolute stillness she is. She is actually, you may be seen her iconography where actually she pulls out the tongue of the Rakshasa or Asura and tries to paralyze him. So maybe actually, especially in the Shaktipita, especially in the Kangra, many of them have heard about Bhaglamukima. Whenever they visit, they would see that actually they have 2 Dwarapalakas, one as Kala Bhairava, Bhairava Swarupa, other as Hanuman. Maybe actually we will try to talk about this context in a while later. But let's understand about Ekavaktra Bhairava. While most of the Bhairava portrayed with the multiple faces, symbolizing a various aspects of consciousness, but Ekavaktra Bhairava is single face. It is like unity of the vision, or we can call it as singular focus, or we can call it as supreme non-dual stillness, somewhat like actually Nirvikalpa. So the more of the yogi who has transcendence all the duality, that particular Swarupa is Ekavaktra Bhairava. See, as the name told, as the name discloses itself as One-Faced Bhairava, he is as also one part of Dasha Bhairavas as a sixth Swarupa of Dasha Mahavidyas. He is a unique as well as esoteric form of the Bhairava here. He is being actually considered as something like absolute stillness, and the stillness which is like unsettled. It is like beautiful state of blissfulness, a singular perception beyond the duality. You can't even imagine how beautiful he is, like a singular particular beyond the duality, like supreme witnessing the consciousness. It's like he is a Nirguna Shiva Tattva. He is a like ascending form of Shiva Guna Tattva. Unlikely that multiple face of Bhairava, who prefers the diverse manifestation of the Shiva powers, Ekavaktra Bhairava has only one face, symbolizing somewhat like a oneness, non-duality, Advaita Siddhanta, and the concentrated spiritual cases. See, his iconography is not being seen, okay, and moreover, Ekavaktra Bhairava Swarupa, it is very, very minimal. In today's context, you may be heard about him, or even learned about him, or know about him more. But wherever the Bhairava Swarupa is in a single faced, his iconography is very simple yet powerful. Like one blazing face with a closed or a half closed eyes, somewhat like in a dhyana. Okay, he will be in a seated posture. Okay, he is not in actually standing posture holding a swana. No, he'll be in a seated posture. He is in a vajrasana meditation posture here, but he would be wearing here as a yellow color or a golden hues dress, surrounding by the still flames as well as a silent symbol of speech, the tongue scriptures, because he is connected to Bhaglamukima. So here actually there is a silence beyond this symbol of a speech. A tongue as a scriptures it has been articulated. In the Kaula as well as Mahavidya tradition, his concept as a Bagalamukhi, she is a Stambhana Shakti. I believe you would be knowing about this. She is being articulated or represented as a Stambhana Shakti. Anyone trying to plot anyone in anyone's life, she is the only Ma who can help us from all those crises. When it comes to the mythological as well as a connection to the Ekavaktra Bhairava, there are like couple of short stories like which is connected to the Kaula Tantra as well as Kashmiri Shaivism. In Kashmiri Shaivism, there is very, very few information which has been written about it. But in Kaula Nirvana Tantra, as well as in Mahavidya traditions, it is few of the Ekavaktra Bhairava's information is unarticulated. But these stories are the connected to how exactly this Bhairava Swarupa came into existence. Like first, like I can call it as a first invocation which was being done. It has been said that actually Ekavaktra Bhairava is been he was came into this existence when Rishi Kashyapa, where actually he wants him to be completely been seen. So there is a storyline during during the Asuric times, like whatever we speak normally during the Asuric time, they begin a very like if when yagna was being stopped and even the rishis had stopped doing the yagna, the puja havanas to the devatas, Rishi Kashyapa actually from many celestial beings went into a deep penance on the banks of the river of Saraswati, where actually his tapas was for a deity who could stabilize the chaos, paralyze the evil, bring back the serenity of the ritual spaces which was really needed. You need to excuse me, I have a very bad throat. After a year of tapas under a golden yellow moon, like a white golden yellow moon, the blazing vision actually appeared. It is said that actually whenever we do a aradhana of the Bhairava in the open sky, especially during the full moon day, Ekavaktra Bhairava Swarupa can be seen or felt. That's what actually was being felt even to the Rishi Kashyapa. Ekavaktra Bhairava was able to come and give his darshana to him, where it could be like a silence wind actually gazing towards him with a golden face. Rishi Kashyapa was able to ask him like, Guru Bhairava, in which Swarupa I am able to see you? Please disclose yourself. Here actually Bhairava tells his one more name, not as Ekavaktra Bhairava. He tells that I am a Yagneshwara. He tells his name as Yagneshwara, one-faced witness, receiving all the, we can call it as obstructions of the Vedas, or who takes or the receives the acceptance of the Veda mantra, and it through the stillness that the cosmos breathe, and the sound whatever we reverberate, but the stillness whatever we have it, even when we are actually reciting that mantra or the Veda mantras, that is Yagneshwara. Kashyapa offered a pitambara. We call it as yellow cloth because he loves to wear the yellow cloth. Ghee, turmeric flower, in the very silent way. That is the first puja vidhana which was being performed to this Yagneshwara or Ekavaktra Bhairava. Here actually the initiated the especially when he offered all this pitambara to the Ekavaktra Bhairava, Yagneshwara. His first known invocation was Ekavaktra Bhairava. That's where actually Bhairava did not disclose his name as Ekavaktra Bhairava. He disclosed his name as Yagneshwara. But here, when Rishi Kashyapa was able to do a hum or a mantra ghoshana to him, here he called him first as Ekavaktra Bhairava. The force that makes the yagna fruitful, not by the fire, what we offer it in the fire as Fat Swaha or Swaha, but the inner silence of the sacrificers. Here, what we need to understand is, we know that actually when it comes to about the Fat Swaha, Swaha is actually a Swaha Devi which takes our intentions, rituals, hymns, everything to the Devata Loka. But what we need to understand is, there is one more particular Swarupa, Yagneshwara. That is the inner silence of sacrificers. What we do, that intention, that is Yagneshwara. And here, Rishi Kashyapa was able to decode that in a very beautiful way. If you want the yagna to be fruitful, not by the fire, but by the inner silence, then Ekavaktra Bhairava or Yagneshwara Bhairava is the only way. From then on, the mantra, whatever we give in a secret, or only the Rishi or a Satvik or a stability for the stability, or near to the any kind of a rating, to passing through the gaze of the breath, or what through the process of the havan, whatever they performed. That's where actually it all started with. Rishi Kashyapa was the initial start of Pitambara, which made Ekavaktra Bhairava as Yagneshwara. He disclosed himself as a Yagneshwara. There is one more beautiful story about Rishi Dadichi. Here, I know, like Rishi Dadichi is an unshakable tapasi. Okay, he sacrifices his own bones for the Indra to make him as a Vajra. So you know that actually Indra, being the the king of the god, he holds one something called as a very powerful tool, or we call it as very powerful ayudha, which is Vajra. And that Vajra was from the sacrifice of the bones of Rishi Dadichi. It happened it happened in once in such a way Dadichi refuses to give up his life. During the conversation, actually, when it happened in such a way, like Indra, when he approached to he wants a Vajra to actually to take the actions towards the Asuric forces. When Dadichi was being approached that actually he need to give up his life after doing so much of intense sadhana, and he need to leave his body, and his bone actually need to be converted as a ayudha until he could meet the death in complete stillness or not with regrets. What he had done is he had accepted the process, but during the process he was always wondering like, how can I attain that? That's where actually Rishi Dadichi invoked during his sadhana paddhati, he invoked Yagneshwara. He invoked Ekavaktra Bhairava, where he guided Rishi Bhrigu that actually Ekavaktra Bhairava, especially in the Atharvana Veda mantra, let me just tell you this. Rishi Bhrigu actually invoked Ekavaktra Bhairava through the Atharvana Vedas. As we spoke about last intense, Rishi Kashyapa, when he invoked Bhairava, similar to it, this articulation of the Yagneshwara or Ekavaktra Bhairava was invoked by Rishi Bhrigu. Rishi Bhrigu actually in Atharvana Veda, totally it has 12 sacred mantras which belongs to the Yagneshwara Bhairava. Here it has been articulated even in Vedas that Bhairava, even in the Swarupa Yagneshwara, is active. When he was performing, he was actually Rishi Bhrigu was actually trying to help Dadichi to perform his sadhana paddhati. When he invoked all these 12 mantras, where he activated the Yagneshwara on the 9th day of the tapas in the cremation ground. See, all this actually happens in the cremation ground because that's a place where actually everything ends and everything starts. And in that golden silence, the wind stopped, everything was stopped. Yagneshwara Bhairava appeared as a golden flame, one face, closing his eyes half. When he appeared, Dadichi sat in his presence and said, with the help of Bhrigu, I was able to understand that actually in the Atharvana Veda, after reciting these 12 mantras, I will be able to invoke you. O Guru Bhairava, how can I take this life away such that I can become a ayudha to the Daivaloka? That's where actually Yagneshwara Bhairava granted him stillness of the sky. He was a person actually, he granted him how exactly the Dadichi can attain the stillness so that he can dissolve this yajna not through the flesh but through the power of the mantras. He can become the divine equipment where actually Asuric forces can be erupted. And even if you see, even until dated in mythology, it has been considered, the Vajra has been considered as a very, very powerful tool. Even when it comes to Durga Ma, when she was taking over the Shumba Nishumba, when all the devatas were able to give her their particular ayudhas to the Ma to actually to take over the Asuric forces, even at that point of time, even Indra was able to give his Vajra, which is very, very powerful, thunder. Okay. Ekavaktra Bhairava or Yagneshwara Bhairava gave him a one particular mantra called as an Yoginini Stambana Mudra. That is actually, there is a mantra with a mudra. Yoginini Stambana Mudra. See, we will not be able to share all those information yet, but this mudra actually activated Dadichi to take his all five senses into a control where he became a complete stillness. This particular mudra will activate us to be in that stillness. Yoginini Stambana Mudra. And this helped him to pass the time. In this moment, actually, Dadichi turned into a living yagna. When he was performing, he became a living yagna, and his body crumbled. His soul actually merged into a Bhairava consciousness. That's how actually he was able to leave his body, not through the flesh, but his bone became the Ayudha to the Daivaloka. And it was actually accepted by the Indradeva. There is a detailed story, but why I'm trying to tell you this is, you need to understand in the context how exactly our Guru Bhairava is connected in so many articulations of the mythological points. Let me also tell you one particular story about Bagalamukhi of and even the union of, we can call it as actually like see, Bhaglamukima, how exactly she was a consort to the Yagneshwara Bhairava. Here, what we need to understand is Bhaglamukima is also known as Thambana Shakti. I have already told this. Once performing several penance near the Hingulaj Mata Shakti Pita to still the speech of the demon of Madanasura, who had gained the boon that none could silence him at all. This is the story of the actually Bhaglamukima. He had actually done a sadhana at the Hinglaj Mata. Many of the greatest sadhakas, asuric natures, even like many of greatest sages actually have done the penance at the Hinglaj Mata Shakti Pita, which is very, very powerful. Even if I want to tell like Ahura Tattva, whatever we speak today, it may be like be deep into that information. I'll try to pass that. Any kind of an aghoric tattva, or it may be like I don't know, like maybe actually I am supposed to pause it here, but still, what I would like to share you here is any kind of asuric natures or devata natures always resided to the Shakti. And that Shakti always actually had a power to perform any kind of boon whichever the sadhakas was able to perform. And many of the sadhakas, including many of the asuric nature as well as devatas, they used to perform the penance towards the Shakti. And this particular story, especially about the Devi Bagalamukhi, Madanasura was actually the demon who had actually got the boon that no one can silence him, and that he got that boon from the Hinglaj Mata. It happened in such a way that her tapas shook the sky, and but her stambana, along with the incomplete in-still presence of her Shiva appearance, there was like actually she was not able to take the control because she was a Stambana Shakti. Even after getting this particular Asura, Madanasura, getting that particular Shakti, she was not able to take a control of that particular Shakti. She sat for the penance. It has been said that actually she sat for the penance. She also sat in the Hinglaj Mata Shakti Pita, and she was able to do a penance in such a way that she was able to call Rudra Swarupa to get particular Stambana Shakti. And that particular Stambana Shakti was bestowed by the silent Ekavaktra Bhairava. He appeared before her with a not like raging, no sound, only like a yellow silence of a time itself, like a union happened not in physical but in a inner samadhi. The Devi becoming the form of still action, and the Bhairava, the source of a silence, begin at this particular moment. She invoked Bhairava into her in such a way that they both became one. That is, together they manifested as Pitambara Vidya. If you see, when it comes to the Bhaglamukima, there is a particular Vidya called as an Pitambara Vidya. In that Pitambara Vidya, we would actually learn more about Yagneshwara Bhairava or Ekavaktra Bhairava, the secret mantra. There is a mantra actually, and the silence, karma, speech, enemy, as well as even the death. This particular mantra, Pitambara Vidya mantra, will silence everyone. You will not be able to get all this information on the website. This is actually encoded into a deepest Guru Guhya Vidya, such that actually it has not been shared. Why I am trying to share all this information? I am trying to tell you that how exactly our Devata, our Guru Bhairava, is connected to how beautiful Swarupas of Mahavidya also. This particular stota, Pitambara Vidya Sotra, is never recited loudly, and it is not supposed to be read even directly on the website. If you are able to find it, you are not supposed to. Only through the inner vibration, and the Guru actually is supposed to give this particular mantra after doing couple of sadhana paddhati of Pitambara Vidya sadhana. During the deep, we can call it as Purnahuti Vidya. Like normally we give a Purnahuti after the Havana. There is a particular type of a Purnahuti sadhana in which actually we perform this. Why I am trying to tell you all this information? You need to know, like, our Guru Bhairava is connected to so many dots. There is one more story actually, like Rishi Vamadeva in this particular story is a very short story. Like he is like a unique tapas, like what we call it as Smashana Sadhaka. He was a Smashana Sadhaka in a Kashi where he used to perform a sadhana in the cremation ground. He was always a quest of transcending the fear of the death and the speech. What we call Vakavidya. He invoked not the Rudras, not the fires, but the Bhutarura of the Bhairava, or we can call it as here Bhairava, especially in Ekavaktra Bhairava, was invoked as a Bhutarupa, because here he was as one particular Swarupa who was closing his eyes and sitting in the Padmasana. He is like a Ekavaktra. He was not able to see him as a Yagneshwara, but he was able to see him as a Bhutarupa. In the silence of that particular night, when Rishi Vamadeva was able to invoke him, Ekavaktra Bhairava appeared in the tongue of a dying flame. In the tongue of him, there was a light sparkle of energy got activated. Tongue of the dying flame, seated on the bed of the ashes where he was able to see. The eyes, that was memory of the time which was actually activated. Vamadeva was able to ask him, like, who silently or silence itself? Like he was able to ask, like, Bhairava, Guru Bhairava, which Swarupa you are able to show yourself? Please tell me, to know about me, which particular Daiva Swarupa I am able to activate. Ekavaktra Bhairava was able to smile, and he was able to tell, a single drop of yellow ash on my tongue is none other than Pitambara. At the moment, Vamadeva's speech stopped. Mind dissolved and the time ceased itself. This is where, when you want to actually control the speech stambhana of your enemy or to the self, the Rishi Munis used to perform this particular vidya, where before they go into the deepest sadhana, they used to activate Ekavaktra Bhairava, ask the Bhairava to actually stop their tongue and mind, such that actually they can stop, speech stopped, mind dissolved, and in the timeless space they can get activated. In this moment, Vamadeva actually sat for 21 days, absolute in the samadhi in the smashana, and he was able to emerge as a Kaula Veera holding the Ekavrata mantra. Here, there is something called as Kaula Veera. He is actually been said as one of the invocator of Kaula Veera or Kaula Tantra. Vamadeva later became the guru of several Natha Siddhas. Even his name is being recited in Natha Paddhati. Vamadeva. Okay. I think a lot of stories have been told till now, but let me just tell you one. If you're really interested, I would like to. If you have heard till now, I think actually you want to know more about the Guru Bhairava Paddhati. So let me take a honor to actually tell one more story where his articulation is being told about a Kaula Siddhas. In a Goraknath, I believe you would be knowing about the Goraknath. Once Goraknath was able to encounter the Ekavaktra Bhairava while meditating in the yellow robe tapas near to the salt cave. As on dated, maybe it is near to somewhere near to the Pakistan. It is near to the Hinglaj Mata. That's the reason actually Hinglaj Mata was been considered as very, very powerful when it comes to the giving the bestows to all types of siddhis. Even Devatas have sat near to the Hinglaj Mata and then done the penance to get their energies back. That is the reason Hinglaj Mata is a very, very powerful deity when it comes to the Shakti Pitas. Today, we do not have an accessibility there because of the geopolitical issues, but try to understand there are certain Shakti Pitas which are very, very potent and powerful, written in our scriptures. So, coming back to the story, when Goraknath was sitting onto the salt cave, doing the penance, doing the meditation, there was a yellow color flame emerged into the navel, his navel, expanding into the flame of the blaze. He was able to see. He was able to see one particular from his navel, a yellow color flame actually emerged. In that particular vision, he received a particular kriya, particular see all those kriyas or the mantra sadhana paddhati actually has not been written. It is actually with his their grace actually you will be able to download. In similar way, Goraknath was able to get the particular stambhana kriya, the breath control technique actually he was able to take. He was able to get that at that moment, and his heart still and external world slowed down after getting this mantra. Then only he was able to go into the lot of deepest stages of his subtle level of his energies, such that actually he was able to rise his kriya, such that he was able to create that paddhati. It became that actually base of the Kaula yoga. Natha Paddhati as well as a Kaula yoga is little, we cannot call it as a separate. It has all are connected. But we have made it this as a separate because it is almost to the south and it is north. Natha Paddhati. Even Natha Paddhati has been till dated being followed in the south. Later he established the Bhairava Pitas in the couple of places, especially Ekavaktra Bhairava, Yagneshwara Bhairava Swarupa in the Nepal, Assam as well as Gujarat, pertaining to the Ekavaktra traditions. In the Kaula Yoga Tantra, it is not only in the south, even in the Nepal we have, even in the Assam we have, even in the Gujarat we have, but in the Gaupia it has been done because it is not been shared into something like coming on the website and telling that today I'll be teaching all the Dasha Mahavidyas to you today now. You be ready, I'll be able to teach you. Give me 10,000 rupees, I'll teach you in next 12 days or 15 days. Not at all possible. Few of the people have made this as a business, but trust me, they're going to bow their seats. They have already won the seats and they're going to get the results, whatever they are supposed to be. They have got it. Here, what we need to understand is when it comes to the practices, we need to understand how exactly this esoteric connections are there connected to the Ekavaktra Bhairava, as well as when it comes to the um, Bhairava, Yagneshwara Bhairava. See, as you may have heard in the in the previous talk which I was trying to tell about the Bhaglamukima as well as Ekavaktra Bhairava union. See here, let me just clarify. In the tantric silence, whatever we try to share here is, in a Kaula Tantra, there is a union is not about the physical. It is about the psychophysical. It is called as in cosmology. What you need to understand here is, when it comes to the union, people get into a delusion that it is a physical. Not at all. It is a psycho-spiritual, where actually you take your complete Jagrata Avastha, taking entire your energy from your Muladhara to the Sahasrara, making your energy completely activate, and from that activation, you get merged into the Devi Swarupini, or the masculine or the feminine type of energy connections which will be established. Here, what we need to understand here is Ekavaktra Bhairava as well as Bhaglamukima. Ekavaktra Bhairava is actually a complete Shiva Tattva Swarupa, a pure awareness. Whereas Bhaglamukima, she is a Shakti Swarupini. She is a power of silence. Because she actually was able to silence all the Asuric natures. Here, Ekavaktra Bhairava, what we need to understand here is his inner eye of stillness. Bhaglamukima is a stillness that the movement of the mind. Here, both the particular swarupas of the Shakti is very, very powerful. Bhairava here, Ekavaktra Bhairava, is a Nirvikalpa witness, whereas Devi is actually Nirguna Tattva. Nirvikalpa Tattva, Nirguna Tattva. If I want to only talk about this two, we can talk about this entire in one episode. But let me pause it here because we need to go into the next stages of it. Here, Ekavaktra Bhairava is a Ekadrishti. As I told you, he's like one face. Ekadrishti. She, Ma, is a paralyzed force. She's a stambhana. He's a concentrated gaze. He's a stambhana. She is actually paralyzing force. Ekavaktra Bhairava is actually like a one vision, whereas Bagala, here actually you need to understand, Bagala means gripping the tongue of the ego. Bagalamukhi means the gripping the tongue of the ego is Bhaglamukima. Their union created the state of the Mahastambhana. The Stambhana, actually, Maha was able to take that particular Asuric nature because there was the Mahastambhana was being created because of that union creation. The spiritual connection where the sadhaka enters the timelessness. The ego is silenced, the speech becomes the mantra, and the breath slows down. Here, what we need to understand is the duality of the Devi or Daiva, speakers as a listeners, or a dissolves in between, is where actually the merging, or we can call it as union creation, happened because of that Mahastambhana. Together they form the twin poles of the inner Tantra. Ekavaktra Bhairava is actually inner stillness. Bhaglamukima is actually the outer silence. This is where actually the union was being formed. So why I'm trying to tell you this is, when it comes to the union, people actually have a one type of esoteric meaning. No. When it comes to the Tantra, there are different levels and different layers of a symbolical, rare information which you need to think upon. There is a rare tantric lores, especially when it comes to the Bhaglamukima, emerges from the golden lake of the Haridra Sarovara. It is that's how actually the Ma is being invoked, or that's how actually Ma came into existence, as has been written. Her roaring silence and force speech the Madanasura, which we spoke about, the particular Asura, which is because of him, Devi and Daiva was able to take the Mahastambhana, and they were able to was able to take control of him. And when they together, that union happened. arised, there was couple of things which came into an existence. Pitambara Vidya, Stambara Mahamantra, and even what we call it as actually the secret breath based on the dharanas of the Kashmiri Shaivism as well as the Kaura Yogas. There is particular secret breathing we normally call, but as we there is a particular word actually which cannot be recited. But why I am trying to pause that this particular secret breath based of dharana is being used to activate the silenceness in the sadhaka's life, and that can happen only when we reach the higher level of sadhana paddhati. It's not actually I come every alternative day, talk about one particular swarupa, talk about all the particular things which are happening around me. Trust me, we are not going to go anywhere. We are actually running on a treadmill and we are trying to gaze about everything, understanding about everyone and everything, and trying to freeze our moment with connecting with and trying to form opinion on others. But here, these particular secret breathing based dharanas are being taught in such a way we can control our mind, control our speech, control our actions. There is a very symbolic inner alchemy which has been encoded into this particular paddhati, which Tantra Yantra, we call it as inner alchemy. When there is a combination of Bagalamukhi Yantra as well as Ekavaktra Yantra is being combined, it is said that actually this becomes a very powerful, potent tool. And this cannot be done by anyone and everyone. There are only certain Rishimunis who have done it to activate their Stambana Vidya and may have, or we can call it as they have utilized this for their deep own greatest purpose. Especially when there is a restlessness mind, whenever there is a excess karma, inner fire is rising very, very high. External enemies are very, very high. Such kind of, we can call it as tantra yantras, are being used to control them. When these two actually sadhana paddhati is being activated, or we can call it as yogi enter into the deepest dharana, you will be able to get the vakya shunyata. We call it as vakya shunyata, like speech ends, breath slows down, karma dissolves as well the stillness remains. That's where actually a sadhaka will become a yogi. It cannot be anchoring every time. No. Sometimes the sadhaka need to become a yogi. And to become a yogi, he need to activate this dharanas. And once this dharana is activated, speech ends. Vakashunyata will come. The breath slow downs, the karma dissolves, and the stillness remains. See, this particular Kaula practitioner, this is actually highly being practiced in the Kaula Tantra, as I told. Even in Dashamaha Vidyas, whenever we perform it, there are certain mantras which is connected to the Ekavaktra Bhairava or Yagneshwara Bhairava. There are certain process we normally invoke him and we get a complete support of him when it comes to the dharana or when it comes to the complete invocation of him into our life. But what we need to understand is how exactly he is actually helping this particular sadhaka's life. As I also told, let me just give you one glimpse of Ekavaktra Bhairava. See, Ekavaktra Bhairava is, his name has been in Vedas, as I told you, his names has been shared as Yagneshwara. You may have heard about this particular word as Yagneshwara, but let me just also tell you, there are 88 mantras about Yagneshwara and 76 of them are we can call it as Yagnadhama mantras and 12 in Atharvana Veda. Like, to put it into a very simple, let me just tell you. In 88 mantras of Yagneshwara, 76 mantras are from Yajurveda, 12 are from Atharvana Veda. Here, the articulation, even it is being done, that Ekavaktra Bhairava is connected and how exactly he is actually bestowing us. See, let me just put you into a very simple words. Ekavaktra Bhairava is known for forgiveness, patience, peaceful nature. He's a complete in concert to the spouse courage of the nature, because Bagalamukima is like that. He's a Yagneshwara there, and he hails such a deity who holds a 4 Vedas. He holds a 4 Vedas in his hand. What we need to understand is, once Ekavaktra Bhairava is an active, he's able to support us. Enemies' destruction, plotting against anyone cannot be done. Remission of the disease as well as sorrow can be eliminated. Prevents any kind of a difficulties and losses can be prevented. Blessings with a long life can only be achieved by the Yagneshwara Bhairava. Here, why I am trying to give you so much of information here is, once you talk about Guru Bhairava Swarupa, once we start doing a Bhairava sadhana, one or the other wave form of Bhairava Guna is activated. It doesn't mean that actually one particular Swarupa you need to get hold of it. I am going to perform one particular Swarupa of a Bhairava where actually I can activate him fully. Not at all possible. If you are in a Bhairava sadhana paddhati, Bhairava will come to you in one or the other Swarupa. That is the reason when we ask the sadhakas, when they start their sadhana paddhati to perform the 1 mandala to 3 mandalas, that is 144 days of the mandala, or 144 days of 3 mandalas, which is, we tell them to actually recite only the Moola Nama Swarupa Nam Japa. That is Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Reason is very simple. Once you call him with the Moola Nama, he is bound to come in one or the other form. He is going to bestow us with all the qualities of all the Swarupas of Bhairava. You take whatever, it may be Swarnakarshana Bhairava, it may be Kala Bhairava, it may be Ashta Bhairava, it may be Mahadasha Bhairava Swarupa, any Bhairava Swarupa perspective, he will be able to come and he will be able to bestow. Even if you recall, even there are certain information which we are sharing now in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, especially in our Telegram group. If you are not part of the Telegram group, please join, where you will be able to know much more deeper level of the 112 ways which Bhairava was able to share to the Shakti. Shiva was able to share to the Shakti, which was able to comprehend to know Devi at the deepest level, how she was able to. Here, before we wind up, I would like to share all of you. There is one particular Guru Bhairava Sadhana Paddhati which is being shared in the Telegram group, which can be done by anyone. Basically, this particular Sadhana Paddhati can be merged in any sadhana. For example, if you're in mid of any kind of a sadhana and if you want to actually involve one more sadhana, this is the only sadhana which you can be involved. Or else it has been said, complete one sadhana, complete, focus completely, and then switch over. But here in Guru Bhairava Sadhana, he gives the add-on support to your sadhana, current existing sadhanas. Here, especially in Kashmiri Shaivism view, as well as in Kaula Nirvana Tantra, Para Bhairava, Ekavaktra Bhairava is also called as in Para Bhairava. So many names, one particular Swarupa, so many names he has been called. Yagneshwara Bhairava, he is also called Rudra Bhairava, he is also called Para Bhairava, he is also called Ekavaktra Bhairava, he is called Pitambara Bhairava. So many names. Reason is, who remains unmoved. Para means unmoved. As a world of as Bhumi is spinning, as a world is spinning, the one particular tattva, guna, which is always stable, is Parabhairava, is always constant. Once you focus on this constant thing, the changing of our mind, the changing of our thoughts, the changing of our energies will come into a pause. That's where actually we normally get into a situation where Stambhana is activated. Once the Stambhana is activated, you will be able to know your speech will come down, your breath also will slow down, karmic dissolving, your actions of karma will come down, stillness actually get activated. So Bhaglamukima represents the power of a Shakti to the dissolve the dual perception. She is making a way for a realization of a that's particular spanda, the inner pulsation of one consciousness which is need to be aware by every sadhakas. But in Kaula Nirvana Tantra, the guardian of the inner, what we call it as prahara or antar 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 yuga or inner sacrifice offer here actually is a very sacred. In cremation ground or dream transient state, actually it has been done. But there is a certain sacrifices which has been done for the inner prahara sacrifices which is being done to the Ma as well as to the Yagneshwara or Parabhairava to get to attain that stillness. See, when it comes to sacrifice, it is not only external. Internal sacrifices matters a lot. Inner sacrifice is the only one which can take you very near to the Daiva. External sacrifice can make you to gain the siddhis, but inner sacrifice can make you to gain siddhis along with the Daiva guna. What we need to understand here in complete Ekavaktra Bhairava Swarupa perspective, where the tongue cannot speak, the mind cannot move, that's where actually Ekavaktra Bhairava is watching you. And that's where actually Bhaglamukima will be able to see you. They'll be able to smile, and that particular stillness, the truth self is seen, not from the form, but from the silence of the Bhairava Guna. So, just make sure that this particular Swarupa, many of them actually text me asking me that actually you are not giving the mantras. See, as I always tell, mantra is not actually somewhat like some esoteric songs which can be shared as and when it is really wished and shared upon. It requires deeper sadhana, both from Guru as well as from the seekers. It is a preparation of the mantra. When mantra has been given, it is not like simple verbally it has been spoken upon. It requires lot of energy because it carries prana, and that prana is very very essential when it has been given from. It is a prana of a shakti, and the shakti can only be transferred, and that can happen only when both of them is ready. So Ekavaktra Bhairava. So let Ekavaktra Bhairava support us with all the things which we are looking for, whatever the destruction of the enemies which need to happen, the enemies of Pancha, five things which is always stopping us to connect to him, let those enemies get dissolved. The disease as well as the sorrows which are always making us to pause to connect to him, let all those get dissolved. Difficulties and losses which is making us to connect with our Daiva, that also get dissolved. And his blessings and the long life be with all of you. With that note, we'll take a leave on this today's Bhairava Anugrah. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Hingulambikaya Namaha. Om Kamakyaya Namaha. Om Hingule Paramahingule Amrita Rupini Tanushakti Manashive Shri Hingulaya Namaha. Namaskaram.